In my videos, I've previously said that one of the reasons that I personally really like iPhones is because they have a tendency to last. And over a few videos on this channel, I've attempted to prove this. I mean, I used the iPhone 6s for a week as well as the original SE. However, recently, I've really wanted a challenge. I've wanted to go back significantly further and try to use my dream phone at the age of 11, the iPhone 4S. Now, what sets this iPhone apart from the iPhones that I've done this challenge with previously is that despite the fact that those iPhones were old, both were still supported by the latest version of iOS. However, the iPhone 4S capped out at iOS 9, it also doesn't use the modern charging standard, and it lacks a lot of features like a secondary interaction like haptic touch, or even a biometrics unlock system. So yeah, let's see what happened. Alright, so the rules for this challenge are as followed. Number 1, no using my main phone whatsoever. Doesn't matter if I need to send an important email or whether I really want to use YouTube. I do not want to be switching back until the end of the week, if at all possible. I'm essentially going to try and use this phone as I usually would, maybe making some adjustments to suit the age, but other than that, it's going to be a pretty normal week. Anyway, let's get to day 1. Alright, so day 1 of using, there we go. Day 1 of using the iPhone 4S for hopefully 1 week. So I actually did want to start this challenge yesterday. However, I didn't actually have a charger for this phone. So I ordered one on Amazon. It arrived this morning, charged this thing up, and let's get into it. So the first thing we obviously need to do is install some apps. Now, the first one I'm going to install is Telegram, which is my main messaging service. So hopefully this is going to be on there. Otherwise, this is going to be a very difficult week. Okay, so it would turn out that Telegram is actually on here. By the way, just so you guys know, I have updated to the latest version of iOS 9 available on this iPhone. Yeah, iOS 9, not iOS 13, not even iOS 12. Kind of crazy how far we're going back with this phone. So yeah, we got Telegram installed. That seems to be working. Not gonna lie, slightly slower than I'm used to with the iPhone 12. But yeah, it works. That's all that matters. Okay, so next up, let's try to install Twitter. This is another app that I like to use on my phone. So yeah, let's give that an install. No, okay. It would seem that Twitter isn't available on this phone now. I kind of expected this, to be honest. But yeah, that's a shame. Guess I'm gonna have to do that on the computer. Anyway, let's do YouTube next. Always important. Yep, no, YouTube's not available on here either. That was one that I really didn't expect to be on here, so oh well. And to be honest, I have actually found that I can watch YouTube on here. I just have to do it through Safari, which does work fine. Apple Music also works, which is nice, so we're gonna have some music this week. Let's give it a test, in fact. Yeah, that sounds fine, but let's try something a little bit extra. Well, yeah, that certainly works. I actually don't know if it's supposed to be that distorted. I have no benchmark at this time. But yeah, so far, I'm actually looking forward to this challenge. iMessage seems to be working. Now, I have immediately noticed there is no secondary interaction, no haptic or 3D touch, which is going to be a little bit difficult to get used to because I use those all the time. But yeah, interested to see where this goes. All right, so it is now slightly later on in the day. I've been using this thing for the entire day. Gotta say, so far, this does seem manageable. I mean, yeah, there are a few things that I need to get used to despite having a home button, and I've used home button phones this year. It's kind of weird not having any biometrics whatsoever. I mean, as you regular viewers will know, I do use Face ID, and before that, I have used the fingerprint scanner, but just going back to nothing is a little bit strange. So yeah, I do find myself often double clicking on this thing only for nothing to happen, so I need to learn to swipe and then type in my passcode. Yep, those are back. Gotta say though, still, scrolling through the OS is actually pretty smooth. So far, the only app I've installed is Telegram, and while that has been, for the most part, running well, I have noticed some slowdown, especially when keeping other tabs open. So yeah, I have actually started closing all the other apps when I'm done using it, and that does actually seem to be making a difference, so that's something I gotta get used to. In fact, let's check out the camera real quick. So I'm shooting this video in my garden. We got decent enough light. This thing does actually have an HDR profile, which is nice. Let's give that a go. Okay, so significantly slower than what I'm used to at this point. And while it doesn't look bad, it definitely looks a little bit soft, and I think it missed focus there. Can't really tell. But yeah, one area where phones have come a long way in the last few years or so definitely the camera. Gotta say, it is nice out today. Even though it's cloudy, it's actually a pretty good temperature, especially for January. And to be honest, I actually don't mind cloudy weather. I mean, it certainly makes everything a lot easier to film in. Like, I've barely adjusted my settings since I was filming earlier. I've shifted the ND slightly and had to shift the white balance. But, oh man, cloudy weather just makes everything so much easier. Yeah, let's go inside and continue this challenge. Opening the box, it was pretty immediate that I was gonna have to make some significant changes to my lifestyle. There was no fast charging. The latest operating system was iOS 9, which is very out of date, and I couldn't even use my standard charger, which, yeah. That was strange. Yeah, from the moment I loaded this phone up, I knew that this was going to be a challenge. I ended day one still not really knowing my way around the phone. However, with Telegram installed and Apple Music set up, I was hopeful for the week. In fact, in the evening, I did watch a couple of videos using YouTube on Safari. However, I still wasn't sure how functional the phone was going to be. To help combat this, I started day two by taking some photos with this phone. I went out, tried to shoot some nice photos, and just generally tried to dive headfirst into the experience of owning an iPhone 4S. As I said back in the day, this was one of the best phones money could buy, and I had actually seen some pretty decent photos taken on the iPhone 4S, so I figured it could be quite fun. Alright, so I actually forgot to record this bit during the challenge, so I'm doing it after, while I record the rest of the camera pieces. Well, no, I didn't not do it, but I forgot to turn on the audio on my Atomos Ninja, so I got no audio. Let's re-record it now while I still have battery left in my microphone. Anyway, so when I went out to take some photos with this phone, it was more or less like using an older iPhone. It's kind of strange how little has really changed in the camera interface, with the exception of like the last year or so. Apple completely redid a lot of the functions, I think kind of for the worst. Don't judge me, alright? I like to be able to hold down the shutter button and take a burst photo. But yeah, it was kind of like taking photos on any other iPhone. To be honest, it was quite clear there was a significant lack of dynamic range and saturation, sharpness, any type of smart technology like portrait mode. Yeah, not exactly a DSLR killer. One of the most difficult things for me to adapt to was the lack of dynamic range, and while there is an HDR profile, it is nowhere near even like an iPhone 7. Yeah, the camera on this thing, definitely dated. Anyway, let's move on to day three. Day three was more of the same. However, I was starting to get a little bit annoyed. I really didn't film all that much today, but from watching YouTube on Safari and having a few issues with that, it just kept pausing, which obviously wasn't ideal. As I've said before in these challenges, usually day three is where I start to get used to the phone. However, this certainly wasn't the case here. In fact, I was less confident on day three than I was on day one. So yeah, not a good sign. Okay, so day four, and not gonna lie, this kind of sucks. Usually at this point in my phone challenges, I am kind of adapting to the phone, but yesterday just kind of took it out on me a little bit. I don't know, maybe I will get used to it, maybe it's just gonna take me a little longer than usual, but not being able to use any other apps on my phone, as I said, I've still only got Telegram on my phone, along with everything just feeling a lot clunkier, doesn't make for a good time. So I've been noticing I've been using my phone a lot less. As I said, of course, AirDrop doesn't work, and of course, another thing that doesn't work is screen time. However, if I were to guess how much time I'm spending on my phone per day, it'd probably be like half an hour. Seriously, I only use this thing for messaging. I do occasionally browse the web on this thing, but yeah, not a good experience. Hopefully it improves with the week though. Because I'm barely using this phone, I have noticed that battery life is really not an issue, which is of course one positive I can pull from this. Yeah, always look for the positives. Anyway, let's continue on with this challenge. See you guys in day four. While on day one, I ended the day hopeful of what was to come. On day four, I ended the day hopeful that I could actually finish the challenge. So yeah, not a great sign. How's it going, everyone? Day 5 now, and the UK is back in national lockdown. Currently on my daily exercise walking my dog. Whoops. And so I thought I'd use this time to talk about why I am pretty sure this is going to be the last day. So while the experience with the iPhone 4S has been tough, I'm not gonna lie, I do think it has been manageable. However, this coming Monday I am actually having more cryosurgery, and so for that, I definitely want to be able to rely on my phone. So yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I could get by with the iPhone 4S through that experience. If I'm stuck in the clinic in pain at 9 AM, I want to be sure that my phone is working, and I'm really not sure that the iPhone 4S is that phone. So yeah, this is going to be the last day of the challenge. Honestly, not going to sugarcoat this one. This challenge has kind of sucked. At least if I was using something like a flip phone, I would know that I wasn't going to be able to use anything like internet or YouTube. But the fact that it was just within my reach on the 4S, but terrible, really wasn't a good experience. So I definitely don't recommend using this phone in 2021. Come on. Goodbye. I think my dog dislikes the rain more than I do. This is grim. Remember how nice it was a few days ago? We had that nice cloudy weather, and while it is still cloudy, it's much darker. I've got my ISO cranked up to like 1000. I think this is actually the first I used this phone for a week challenge that I actually haven't completed. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the other challenges did have their ups and downs. This one has been mainly downs, not gonna lie. So yeah, I don't recommend going with a phone that's lost its support. This phone, definitely not for me. But I think I know someone who might benefit from it. This is my granddad. At the age of 75, he started running for fun, and when he was 76, he ran a full marathon for the sake of it. Currently, he uses this bad phone that has led to us getting separated on many an occasion, and while neither of us are going out right now, he does have some other needs, such as email and taking photos, so I thought this iPhone 4S would probably be perfect for him. So yeah, it should be quite clear that a phone this old really isn't all that usable as a smartphone in 2020. However, as we saw with my granddad, this type of phone still does have its applications in the world. So maybe if you have an old iPhone 4S in a drawer that you are never going to use again, maybe see if an elderly relative can make use of it. Anyway, so to sum up this challenge, could I use this phone for a week in 2021? No, not really. It was very impractical. But does it still have its uses in 2021? Kind of. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Let me know, by the way, what phones you'd like to see me try next. I always like reading your comments. As for now though, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.